It's coming now. Go.
Anandamaनन्दकरप्रसन्नं प्रेमस्वरूपं ब्रजभावयुक्तं योगीन्द्रमीड्यं भवरोगवैद्यं गुरुं कृपालुं प्रणमामि नित्यम्. To all the wonderful divine souls who are participating from around the world in this most blissful celebration of Jagadguruttam Diwas, my heartiest greetings and best wishes. We have, over the last few months, very often discussed the personality of Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj and the fact that he was honored by the Kashi Vidvat Parishad. This Kashi Vidvat Parishad was a supreme body of Vedic scholars, having about 500 scholars who each had spent a lifetime in the study of a few of the Vedic scriptures. So when Kripaluji Maharaj discoursed before that assembly for 10 days, and they were all convinced that his knowledge is deeper than the combined knowledge of the entire assembly, they honored him with the title of Jagat Guru, which literally means spiritual master of the world, and added to it that he is Jagadguruttam. Now, the Guru is so amazing, but what does it mean to have him as our guide, as the one who is blessing us and inspiring us? What are we doing having come in touch with such a great personality? How are we progressing on this path? That becomes important. So this journey of bhakti that we undertake in accordance with the philosophy of divine love that we have learned from Jagadguruttam Sri Kripaluji Maharaj has a certain pathway that is described. And that pathway is important to understand. Whenever you undertake a journey, you keep looking for the milestones. These milestones let you know that so much distance has been covered and so much remains. It verifies the fact that you are on the right track and gives you a feedback on how well you are doing. So, of course, nowadays in the age of GPS, milestones have become less popular. But as a child, whenever I would undertake a journey in cars, we would always be looking forward to the milestones on intercity travel. So on the spiritual path as well, we are travelers. Are there any such milestones on this journey that can let us know how far we have reached and how much distance is yet to traverse? If we were doing the sadhana of Ashtang Yoga, the journey would have been something like this. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharan, Dhyan, Samadhi. The 8th stage would have been final Samadhi. Had we been going by the path of Jnana Yoga, the journey would have been Vivek, Vairagya, Shamadhi, Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutva, Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, Samadhi. But we are undertaking the journey of Bhakti-Yoga. So what are the stages in Bhakti-Yoga? The Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which was written by a disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it states that to the final destination of Krishna Prem, love for God, there are 8 preceding steps. And he describes them thus. Adau Shraddha Tatah Sadhu Sango Tha Bhajana Kriya Tato Nartha Nivrittisya Tato Nishtha Ruchis Tatah Atha Saktis Tato Bhava Tatah Prema Bhyudhanchati Sadhakanamayam Premna Pradurbhave Bhavet Krama. He says the journey begins with Shraddha. So what is Shraddha? Shraddha means faith in what I cannot understand at present. If somebody says, let the whole path get clear to me, let me get answers to all my questions and then only I will begin. It is like hoping that I will leave home only when all the lights along the way have turned green. So many things remain question marks to us when we start. Even in the world, the leap of faith is necessary for everyday life. When you go to a barber and he puts a blade on your neck, you have faith in his skills and the fact that he is not your enemy, he will not slit the throat. If there is a doubt there, you will never be able to allow the barber to cut your hair. So Lord Krishna says, Agyascha Shraddadhanascha Sanshayatma Vinashyati Nayam Lokosti Naparo Nasukham Sanshayatmanah. He says, one who is ignorant plus without faith, such a person cannot succeed either in this world or in the spiritual realm. So faith becomes a necessary element, and faith starts us off on this journey. When we say, okay, I have not seen God as yet. I have not even seen my soul as yet. But I have seen enough of the world and I realize the happiness I want is not there. I made so many desires, tried to fulfill them, and the situation remained the same. I do believe there is a higher power with which I wish to connect. I do believe there is a higher purpose to life than pleasure seeking, which I need to find. This willingness to have Shraddha sets us off on the journey. So this faith doesn't come easily. It is said that many lifetimes of pious deeds results in such kind of faith. And then we come to the second stage in the journey. What is that? Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha. Now we associate with the holy personalities. That is the Sadhu Sangha or Sat Sangha. Such association becomes extremely auspicious for our life, our mind, and our personality. In the Bhagavatam, this question was asked that the inauspicious things in the heart, anger, greed, desire, lust, hatred, envy, how will we get rid of them? So the answer given is Shrinvatam Swakatham Krishnaha Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Ridyantasthoya Bhadrani Vidhunoti Surit Satam. Shukadev ji says, O Parikshit, hear Krishna Katha, the glories of the names, forms, virtues, pastimes of the Lord, from the mouth of a saintly personality. That hearing itself will have a huge impact. In fact, Gargacharya says in Narad Bhakti Darshan that God enters less through the eyes. So you have darshan of the deity, he does enter your heart. But when you hear his pastimes and descriptions through the ear, he enters in a more significant way in your heart. So this is the satsang, the saintly association. You know, even in the world they say that show me your 5 closest friends and I'll tell you who you are. You are roughly the mean of what they are. Now we associate with somebody who is ahead on the path, and what happens? That kind of association enhances our faith. So faith started us off, and it will slowly start growing. When faith becomes complete, surrender will be complete and devotion will be complete. But in the second stage, as we associate with the saintly person who has faith, it rubs off on us as well. The fact is that Shraddha, faith in the divine, is more infective than COVID-19 and Ebola virus. There you can protect yourself with masks. But when you associate with someone who's full of faith, it naturally comes into you. How come this person is speaking with such confidence about God? Must have experienced something. And that helps us increase our Shraddha. Plus, through satsang, we get to hear divine wisdom, the knowledge of the scriptures. So this knowledge is very important. I have seen over the years guiding people, so many people who started off with great speed did not continue very long. They seemed to have a lot of faith, but they had been careless in understanding spiritual principles. So it was all a matter of feeling and emotions. I like Swamiji, I like Radha Krishna, I like Maharaj. And 10 days later, I don't like them. They did not listen to me. They did not fulfill this desire. But if emotions and feelings are the inspiring force, they do not sustain us. And hence, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Siddhant baliya chitte na karo alas. In the acquisition of scriptural knowledge, do not be lazy. I am so happy now that as a consequence of the coronavirus, despite its bad effects, the plus side has been that JK Yoga is now offering daily so many different classes, opportunities for desirous, thirsty souls to revise and revise and revise that knowledge and get it seated inside. The stronger the knowledge sits in the head, you take it in writing, you will naturally move ahead. Because the decision will develop. It's not here, it is there. This is not mine, that is mine. So the three initiatives of JK Yoga online going on, the JK Yoga Academy, the Radha Krishna Temples, CICE Center for Indian Culture and Education, and JK Yoga India. So we've got so much of satsang. Now the consequence of satsang, this satsang is done in two ways. One is sang and one is prasang. Sang is casual association. Now, let's see what do they have to say. Then after that I'll go and see what that person has to say. Then I'll go and see what that person has to say. That's casual. And the other is prasang, where we are committed. I have to apply these principles and philosophies. There is no point flitting around like a butterfly. So from the second stage comes the third stage, bhajana kriya. This means now practically engaging in bhakti. So not everybody goes to the third stage. Some people remain in the stage of satsang. Let me hear, let me hear. In 98, I did a 25-day lecture series in Kolkata. It's a big park they had, Northern Avenue Park. And in those days, Kolkata was like a city of satsang. So there used to be so much of satsang going around the city. One gentleman came to me, he said, Swamiji, I am in sheer bliss. In the morning, I go for one satsang from 5 to 7. Then you do Kirtan, 5 to 7, I come to your satsang. Then in the evening, I go for one third satsang, 5 to 7. Then your lecture is 7 to 9. Then I come for that one. And I do this 365 days a year. I said, have you attained God? No, no, no. So that is one level of satsang. And the higher level, from the satsang you got the knowledge, you wish to implement it. And that is the bhajana kriya. The practical process of bhakti, you start engaging in it. Meditation, kirtan, chanting, feeling the presence, so on, contemplating, etc. This is the bhajana kriya. And Kripaluji Maharaj put bhajana kriya so well. He says, Shama Sham Bhajunet Govinda Radhe Bhava Nishkama Ananya Batade. 3 points. Keep your mind constantly in God. Second, let your devotion be undivided The attachment of the heart is only in the divine, and let your devotion be selfless. Keeping these 3 points in mind, we engage in bhakti, bhajana kriya. And the consequence of bhajana kriya is what? Stage number 4. Anarth nivritti. What is anarth nivritti? The anarthas, the impurities, they start getting washed away. That should be the consequence. The heart is getting cleansed. So this anartha nivritti, stage 4, this is. We must be very careful. Otherwise, any anarth, any impurity can grow and overpower us. Just the fact that we are doing bhakti does not mean that everything is all right. It means we have started taking the medicine. But in this stage, you must be cautious. There are varieties of anarthas. Dushkrit jat anarth, sukrit jat anarth, aparadh jat anarth, bhakti jat anarth. What is bhakti jat anarth? Doing bhakti, your heart became impure. Why? Before I was doing bhakti, nobody knew me. But now due to bhakti, I have got name and fame. 20, 25 people, they are listening to me. They are glorifying me and they're saying, oh, you're such a wonderful teacher and you're such a wonderful devotee. And that has now become the goal instead of bhakti. These are the traps along the way. The various tricks of Maya, they are endless. Just because we are doing seva doesn't mean that now we've become holy. Are we doing seva for our pleasure or for the pleasure of the Guru? If we don't get the fruit of our seva and that disturbs us so much that our mind becomes agitated, it means we were too attached to the fruits for our own sake. We were not doing it for the pleasure of God and Guru. And if we make our seva offering for their sake, then we say, I tried my best. The fruits are in their hands, whatever they come. We don't let any kind of disturbance affect our mind. So these anarthas, they are really dangerous. We need to be very careful. And what is the insurance policy against them? Sincerity. If we are sincere, we can see, oh my God, I've got so many dirty things in my heart. If we are not sincere, we'll say, I'm all right, the other people are at fault. We'll blame the others and say, I'm all right. So, one must always, with sincerity, self-introspect. Are my desires truly pure? Is this desire for name and fame creeping into my devotion? Is the desire for control creeping in? Am I trying to enjoy the fruits of my devotion for my happiness? With this care we need to keep treading, and this is where the role of the Guru is so important. Maharaj Ji used to tell me there is nobody born in this world who gives lectures and doesn't develop pride, unless the Guru is there behind to control. So the Guru helps us, handles us, and keeps on guiding us, pointing out our mistakes. And that is why we must be very humble. Humbleness will always make us self-introspect. If we lose humbleness, we will fall into the trap of fault finding. The other is at fault. No, I'm absolutely all right. So, this stage of anartha nivritti, not everybody goes to the other side. Many people fall along the way. That are the risks which God has deliberately made the path difficult. It's like parents who treat their children with kids' gloves. When the kids grow up, they remain babies. And the parents who expose their children to hardships, their children grow up to be valiant and heroic. So God says, I'm not making this path so simple that it's getting out of it is like opening a soda bottle. You will have to fight the royal fight within yourself, where there are dangers at every step. So tighten your belt and move ahead under the shelter of the Guru. Anartha nivritti. And then comes the next stage. It is stage number 5, called Nishtha. What is Nishtha? Nishtha means firm faith. Again, the word faith has come in. The faith started us off, but it kept growing, growing, growing. And now when the heart got reasonably cleansed, the faith became really strong. And why was that? Because the experience starts coming. Not that you have seen God at that time, but you have experienced a glimpse of His bliss. And that glimpse that comes from inside is so fulfilling, so satisfying. The soul says, this is far better than being the president or prime minister of a country. I am deeply satisfied and fulfilled. So that inner experience becomes the proof to the soul that the process I am following is right. I may not have reached the end, but it's right. See, Naradji was asked, what is the proof of this devotion that you talk about? Praman, empirical evidence. And Naradji said, Pramanantara syanapekshatvat swayam pramanatvat. This bhakti will not need an external proof. You will experience it from inside. Your own experience will tell you, maja, I enjoyed. Today when I was sitting in meditation, it was such a fulfilling experience. And someday you get up from your meditation feeling incomplete because the connection did not get established from inside. So that connection gives you the proof in the form of the awakening of knowledge, the growth in bliss, and the outpouring of love. That brings nishtha or firm faith, and then the journey continues. The next stage is ruchi. Ruchi means developing a deep relish for the divine. So it is one thing to do bhakti, but now the relish has increased so much that you don't mind doing bhakti for hours and hours and hours. Say, oh, another 2 hours of Kirtan, why not? Little more lecture, why not? That kind of taste has developed. So bhakti is full of taste. The relish of God. Bhajanam nam rasanam. A definition of bhakti is to relish the bliss of God. But why is it that the divine doesn't seem so tasteful right now? The reason is our own senses, mind and intellect are defective. It's just like if somebody offers you a wonderful lemonade or sugarcane juice, but you have got jaundice. So you will find that sugarcane to be bitter, not because it's bitter, but your senses are defective. Similarly, the bliss of God is infinitely relishable, but our senses, mind, intellect are yet material. So now in the 6th stage, they have got sufficiently purified that the taste is being experienced so deeply, it is called ruchi or relish. And then comes the next stage, the 7th stage. That is called asakti. Asakti means the mind is now attached. God has clasped the mind. Earlier, cigarettes had clasped the mind, and drinks and internet, and now God has clasped the mind. So what happens in such kind of attachment? The intellect surrenders. Like a drunkard, the cigarette smoker. You ask him, why do you smoke cigarettes? Don't you read on the packet, cigarette smoking is injurious to health? He says, I know, but I cannot resist. It's too much. That attachment says, doesn't matter. If I get TB or whatever, I need my puff. The alcoholics know that they are undergoing cirrhosis of liver, and yet they need that bottle. So now in the divine realm, the attachment leads to surrender of intellect. If somebody says, why are you doing bhakti? Don't you know you will go to hell if you do bhakti? Whether I go to hell or to heaven, what can I do? It's become a part of me. Like someone asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then why do you do bhakti? He said, it's my nature. Like I breathe, it's my nature. Now you say, why do you breathe? First you take the air inside, then you take it out, then again in, then again out. Just keep it inside or just keep it outside. You will say, that is my nature. Without it, I'll feel suffocated. Similarly, now bhakti has become a nature. Without it, we'll feel this huge lack. And this is asakti. And then the 8th stage. The 8th stage is bhav. One before prem. Like when the sun rises, the night runs away. But even before the sun is visible, sunrise has not taken place. A few rays have come and the darkness is already gone. Has the power of the sun. Similarly, in this 8th stage, God realization has not taken place. But a few rays of the divine energy have entered the Yoga Maya. And they have cleansed the heart so much. The symptoms of Bhav Bhakti. Shantir avyartha kalatvam viraktir manashunyata. Shantir, where there's a reason to be angry and you're not angry. Now, if there is no reason to be angry, then nobody will be angry. Why should anyone at this time, is anybody angry? No. But does that mean that we are beyond anger? Absolutely not. The anger is sitting inside. When the reason comes, it will reveal itself. So Kshanti, like you hear the examples of Ekanath, the Pathan spat on him again and again. Nothing could disturb his peace as the sign of purification of heart. Not that, I need this to change, then I'll be peaceful. What's the big deal in that? Things are there to agitate us, and we are not agitated. There is a reason to be attached, and yet we are not attached. There's a reason to be resentful, and yet we are not resentful. There's a reason to be proud, and yet we are humble. Why? Because the heart has got reasonably cleansed. The goal is still not reached, but we are getting close. So keep on doing sadhana. If you are crossing a river in a boat and you've crossed 90%, so you don't say, now how does it matter, let me jump off, because the water is still 30 feet deep, you will drown. You have to reach the other side. Likewise, Maya is still there. Carry on. And then you go on and on. The same sadhana that you are doing, the bhajan, the seva, like the paras, philosopher's stone comes close to the iron. Closer, 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 and one day it touches. And the day it touches, it transforms the iron into gold. But in the divine realm, it's beyond that. The day our surrender will become complete, Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. By the grace of God and Guru, we will not become gold. We will become like the paras. We will become Mahapurush. So that frame will be received. At that point, the journey will be complete. That is the ninth and the destination. These are the milestones and the final end goal. So when we celebrate Jagadguruttam Diwas, we should ponder that having come in touch with such a great personality, I should take advantage of the opportunity and see that I progress from day to day, hour to hour, moment to moment. For that is where the fun lies, in trying to be the best you can be, to do the best you can do, and thereby feel the best that you can feel. So with these words, once again, I'd like to offer my heartiest best wishes to everyone who has joined us on this worldwide celebration of Jagadguruttam Diwas. Bhakti-Yoga Rasavatar Jagadguruttam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj Ki Jai. I believe we have quite a few questions. It shall be my pleasure to take them.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. What a beautiful lecture. Truly appreciate your time, especially you are in India. It's late in the night and you coming on live and giving us this wisdom for our benefit. We have some questions and answer. The first question will be from Simiji. Please come live.
Radhe Radhe Swamiji, Pranam.
Radhe Radhe.
So this is Simi Chaplot and I'm from Tampa, USA. And first of all, I want to thank you so much for being my guru and helping me to understand and try to put into practice the teachings of Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. So attending all the JKO life transformation workshops, multiple 21-day challenges, and reading your books on mind management, all these have inspired me to focus more on learning to manage the mind, thoughts, and emotions rather than just reading and gathering of facts. And the best part is that you explain with interesting contemporary examples, and that really helps to pinpoint how exactly we need to apply the knowledge in our day-to-day lives. And thank you for all your blessings and graces. So my question today is triggered from attending the online Bhagavad Gita classes being offered by the CICE of the Radha Krishna Temple of Dallas. Swamiji, please help me to understand if the free will and the intellect, if they are both the same entities, and how do they come into play in the process of self-transformation? Radhe Radhe.
Okay, your question, first of all, thank you for expressing your devotional sentiments, Simi. It's always a pleasure to see you striving to progress with all your sincerity. Your question is, are intellect and free will the same thing or different? Intellect is a faculty. Now, the soul is endowed with the body, the mind, the intellect. These are faculties it has received. And free will is a facility to use these faculties as we wish, which means the power to choose is an expression of the free will. The free will enables us to use our intellect as we wish. We can choose to believe, we can choose not to believe. That option which we have is what free will is about. Similarly, with the thoughts, we can choose a good mood, we can choose a bad mood. The fact that the options are available is an indication that the Creator has endowed us with the free will. And the reason for that is the free will is the basis of love. Without such options, there can be no love. A machine cannot love. It has got no options. So God has given us the free will and He's given us the options. Will you love the material or will you love the spiritual? Will you love the mundane personalities or will you love me? And when we exercise our free will in His direction, there are obstacles. We say, okay, I will choose not to be disturbed. I choose to remain devotional. The more you exercise your free will, the more you express your love and the higher you rise on this path. Thank you, Simi.
Thank you, Swamiji. Next question is from Stephanie.
Radhe Radhe. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Radhe Radhe, Swamiji. Thank you so much for taking my question. I've really benefited from your generosity in all the classes and just so much. It's just so amazing. And the depth of the teachings in terms of really understanding or really having things pointed out as to what the real truth is and clearing up so many confusions. What I wanted to ask, you've talked about satsang and faith. I wanted to ask if you could talk about the meaning of kasang and how it affects the progress of a devotee, particularly if that kasang is activated through a relative, like a close relative. Does it mean that you have to dissociate or detach from that relative completely?
Okay. So, Stephanie, I'm so happy to see you participating in so many of the JKO programs and the sincerity with which you are applying yourself. My best wishes and blessings to you. Your question is about kusang as opposed to satsang. Satsang comes from the root Su-sang, which means associating with the beneficial, the positive, the divine. And the reverse, kusang, associating with the negative, the poisonous, the material. That association which takes us to the truth is satsang. That association that pulls us down is kusang. So ideally speaking, we should be unaffected by the environment. We should have that kind of spiritual strength that my mind is with me. No matter what kind of kusang somebody gives, I choose to remain in high consciousness. But that is the ideal. And an ordinary sadhak is not at that level. So at the level where we are, the environment does make a difference. When you go into a temple, you read your mind, immediately your thoughts have changed. The beliefs paramount are different. Your inspiration is different. You're in the mode of goodness. And you go to a casino, the vibrations are different. Your mind has got different trains of thoughts and aspirations. So the environment is affecting us. And that is why it is said that beware of worldly environment. Narad ji in his Bhakti Darshan says Dusanga, that kusang he has called it Dusang. Sarvathaiva tyajya, reject it at the very outset. Kam, Krodh, Moh, Spriti, Bhansh, Buddhinash, Sarvanash Karanatvat. It will increase desires, anger, greed. It will ruin your intellect. So many problems. So be wary of bad association. But of course, there is the practical aspect to it. If the bad association is your own near relative, then you have to take a call. What is practicable? It is sometimes not practicable to just leave and run away. You don't have an option. You have to study your options and then decide. There is no one answer to that. You have to decide, is it feasible to get rid of that kusang? And if it's not feasible, then bear with it. Many people are in that situation where they are living with such negative environments and association. This is the principle. You see how it can be applied in your life.
Great. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Next question is from Pradaji.
Radhe Radhe Swamiji.
Radhe Radhe.
My name is Parthasarathi. I am from Philadelphia. I would like to thank you, Swamiji, for all the things you do, for everything. I also want to take this opportunity to thank every sevak of Jagadguruttam for their hard work and dedication to organize events like this. I really feel that they are blessed to have the opportunity to serve you. And my question to you is, how can we also serve you so that we can experience the same bliss that a sevak experiences when serving you personally in the ashram?
That is a good question. Sevas are the same, no matter what they may be. The potential to experience grace and the inner connection is the same in all the sevas. It is not that physical seva is far more blessed and serving on the other side of the planet is any less blessed. This is the beauty of the spiritual realm, that God is everywhere, and it is the bhav, the sentiment, which is important. There is the saying in Hindi, diya tale andhera. Under the lamp, the lighted lamp is the darkness. Very often somebody who is physically very close to the Guru is not keeping divine sentiments. Familiarity breeds contempt. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would go for darshan of Lord Jagannath, he would see him from the other end of the temple, about 50 yards away. He would stand there and see. People would say, why don't you go and see him close, the deities? He would say, if I go close, I may start seeing defects. Oh, the paint has come off here. So familiarity breeds contempt. It's better I stand far and see. So the message was that it doesn't matter whether you're physically with the Guru or you're away. If you have the desire to serve and you are striving with sentiment, God and Guru are sitting inside, they are noting and they are reciprocating. Specifically, JK Yoga is a mission. We are trying to propagate the divine knowledge we have received from Kripaluji Maharaj. He has instructed us to reach this out to the souls for their welfare. And alongside, as a socially responsible organization, we have got so many projects in the service of humankind, their health, their well-being, the downtrodden, the underprivileged, the uneducated. We have got projects for so many people. And that is why there is varieties of opportunities to serve. So this service becomes very inspiring. When you sit and meditate or chant, you are engaging some of the senses. But when you serve, you are practically engaging your whole being. Your nature to work is dovetail. It becomes a very inspiring and fulfilling experience. I have seen devotees who were listless. When they got into the seva mode, they became full of enthusiasm. So it is a wonderful way to engage yourself fully along with your bhajan, your devotion. You must try and find some suitable seva. So from time to time, our volunteers, they let out such messages. If anybody wishes to join the seva, you're welcome to do so. You get in touch with them and they will let you know what options you have based on your skill set, based upon the time you can dedicate, and do apply yourself to some seva. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Next question is from Rimaji.
Radhe Radhe Swamiji. I'm Rima from Connecticut, and your teaching are helping in a great way. They are helping us understand our nature, our defects, and as you say, grow from within. So thank you for empowering our intellect. And today my question is, how to strike balance in sadhana and seva? Sadhana is theoretical aspects and seva is the practical aspects. But when we do seva, in a very subtle form, we have the sense of doership, and I think it should not be, it is not acceptable in Bhakti Marg. So please help us, guide us.
Okay, Rima, thank you for your question. See, nobody can start at the top. You will always start at the first rung. So do not expect complete success in the very beginning. Sometimes people develop this mindset. They see a defect in themselves and they become demoralized. But all the defects are there because we are under Maya. So it is not just the kartitva-abhiman, the pride of doership. There's deha-abhiman, the pride of the body and its various assets. And there is all the other defects as well. So you learn to make peace with them. I am like this today, but tomorrow I need to be better. It's not a problem if we made a mistake last year, but it's a problem if we repeated last year's mistake this year again. So what is important is the growth that takes place. From day to day, we need to keep improving. And that is why definitely be aware of your defects, but never let them demoralize you. That is the choice you make. I see a defect now. Will I feel dejected, or will I take it as a signal I need to work harder because I've got so much more defects than the others have got? Every piece of information, if we are cunning, spiritually cunning, we can use it to our advantage by thinking in the proper manner. And the same situation, we think wrongly, and then people become dejected. Oh, humse to nahi hoga, I will never do it. So, never mind if you find that there is kartitva abhiman, the pride of doership. You say, okay, I will throw this out and I will strive. Again the thought has come, again I'll throw it out. Again it has come, again I'll throw it out. You will have to do it 10,000 times, then the naturality will come. That is how this journey progresses. So, sadhana, the bhajan or the sadhana is important to improve the quality of the mind, the thoughts, the intellect. But then, seva is even more powerful. So, slowly, as the seva grows, then they both go hand in hand. You realize that to do my seva better, I need to be in better consciousness. To be in better consciousness, I need to improve my sadhana. And through good sadhana, you get more inspiration to serve. So it just goes hand in hand. But as a rule of the thumb, you spend 1 hour on your sadhana, and the rest of the time you spend on seva. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Radhe Radhe, Swamiji.
Radhe Radhe.
I just wanted to thank you for all the great teachings that you've been teaching. It has changed my life severely. And my question is, do you have to associate with a living guru to surrender to one and to receive the grace of the guru? Thank you, Swamiji.
The idea of a guru is a teacher who can give us knowledge, who can monitor our journey, who can see our progress, who can give us feedback, who can encourage us when we are feeling dejected, and provide us friendship, love, support in so many different ways. Now, if there was no need for a living guru, then you have one guru at the beginning of creation. And after that, everybody keeps on accepting the same personality as the guru. Right? There was one Ved Vyas at the beginning of creation. Now after that, everybody keeps on accepting Ved Vyas as the guru. But that is not the concept of a guru. It's just like when you make a mentor in the world. So you need to be able to connect with your mentor. And if your mentor is like the president of a country and you can never even get in touch with that person, what kind of mentor is that? So that is why we need the personal connection, the personal contact, the personal guidance. So Kripaluji Maharaj has said in his lecture that you need a living guru The only thing is that now if you don't have any such living guru, then what do you do? So then you do the second best thing. Then you find some guru who is not there, and then you say, okay, his knowledge is still there, and he is looking at me even though I can't look at him. His grace is there, so I will follow his teachings, and I will keep receiving his grace even today. So that's like the second best option. Okay, so you have to choose between what is available.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Next question is from Prashantji.
Radhe Radhe Swamiji.
Radhe Radhe.
Jagadguru Sri Kripalu Maharaj ki Jai. This is Prashant and Arav Saraswat. We are from San Jose Bay Area.
Okay.
And first of all, Swamiji, I want to give pranam to you on behalf of the Bay Area JK Yoga family. We are eagerly awaiting you to come to our new temple. And
Yes, I am really looking forward to it. It's a big, big achievement and blessing of God. So I'm so happy about this new temple and looking forward to coming there myself.
I also want to thank the JK Yoga volunteers for giving us the opportunity to connect with you on this auspicious occasion. So Swamiji, my question is that we recognize our faults, limitations, our insignificance, and that helps us increase our humility and purify our mind. Now, I was wondering if we realize that we are pure by nature because we are souls who are eternal and unchanging, can that also purify our mind?
That's an interesting question. See, Prashant's question is that you become aware of your faults, realize them, it'll make you humble and it'll purify the mind. And what about realizing yourself as the soul? Can that also be used? Definitely it can. How can it be used? Let us say your mind and intellect throw up a nasty thought. Now what do? So you remember, I am the soul, I am pure, my mind is playing mischief, I will not associate with this thought. So you distance yourself from that thought by remembering your soul nature. Mostly people in the world at this stage, they are not able to see the mind as different from them. And that is why it becomes a struggle. I am in a bad mood, I am in a good mood, I am thinking like this, I am thinking like that. Now one lady, she just had a baby and she came to me really disturbed. I said, why are you disturbed? You've got such a beautiful baby. Swamiji, I can't control my mind. I said, what is the matter? Are you thinking of taking the baby and slamming it against the wall? Hare, how did you come to know? I said, the mind's tricks. Now, the mind creates thousands of thoughts every hour. There is no need to associate. It created a bad thought, but that lady took the bad thought seriously. And when she did, the thought became stronger and stronger and stronger until she is unable to get rid of it. And now she is becoming disturbed because consciously she never wants to do something like that. But the mind and its tricks is always throwing the thought of slamming her baby against the wall. So it is to our advantage to distance ourselves from the mind from time to time. And that is where you remember your soul nature, that I am the divine soul, I will not associate with thought. And that thought will pass away, the next one will come. So this is one of the tricks you can use in your effort at self-purification. Thank you, Prashant.
Thank you, Swamiji. Next question is from Arnima. She's representing a devotee from India. Arnima, go ahead.
Arnima, I cannot hear you.
Radhe Radhe Swamiji.
Radhe Radhe, Arnima.
I'm asking this question on behalf of Tanishq Modi ji from India. His question is, how can I join JK Yoga and how to become a disciple?
This is a divine connection, and it's an inner connection. The external connections are just helpers. Now, one may have external connections, but if the mind and intellect are disconnected, what is the use? That is what is done in the world. The guru comes and puts a mantra in the ear and says, "You're my disciple." But the question is the disciple actually connected with the teachings or not? So, JK Yoga is following the teachings that Kripaluji Maharaj gave, where he said there is no need for mantras, there is no need for such kind of diksha. The name of God is divine. Every name of God is divine. You take it with love, you will get the grace. So, you just accept the Guru in your mind. That is the connection. Then receive the teachings, implement the teachings, and you will be connected. But nevertheless, from the point of view of formally kind of giving more support to your mind, we do have schemes. You could become a life member of JK Yoga USA or JK Yoga India if you are in India. We have got our various programs. There's a daily sadhana portal. You could do daily sadhana. That will connect you more deeply. If you are in one of the cities where we have got satsang, we've got satsang in 8 cities of Gujarat. You could become a member of one of those satsangs. And I'm very happy to tell you this announcement is going to come soon. We are launching a special online community. You can become a member of that online community. So there are so many different ways you can feel connected and more close. And as far as meeting me, you find out my schedule. Right now I'm not traveling, but when I do, and I travel all over India and USA, you're welcome to come and meet me personally. I'll be happy to know you and personally connect with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. The next question is from Pallaviji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Swamiji. My name is Pallavi Mansankre. I'm from Boston. Please accept my heartfelt and sincere gratitude for sharing your knowledge. It has really changed my life. I've been benefited so much by attending online Gita study lessons, seeing your videos, reading your books, attending your 21 days challenge programs. I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for taking my question today as well. So my question is regarding the pride of doership. What happens is many times when we are performing our worldly duties, our responsibilities, and we are able to do it successfully, many times it happens that along with the confidence, what creeps in our mind is the pride of doership. And in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna himself says to give up the pride of doership. Swamiji, please guide us on some practical tips on how to give up the pride of doership. Thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
This is the nature of the material mind. Sorry. The material mind naturally, I'm able to hear myself. Pallavi, you can put yourself on silent.
Thank you.
So the material mind is such that its nature is to become proud. And that is why you become aware of it, and then you wish to remove it. So the first step is the self-awareness, which you say you already realize that this is a problem. And the second step is the setting of goals, where the goal is that I want to be free of it. And then the third step is the effort that you put in. So why is this pride arising? Because of our ignorance. We are thinking I am the body and hence I am the doer. Now, if we could bring the correct knowledge that I am the soul, the body is made by the material energy which is come from God, and He is the powerhouse who is giving all the power. So if we bring that knowledge that He is the powerhouse, if He minuses the power, I cannot even lift my hand. So that knowledge has to be brought to the mind again and again and again, to the intellect. But that is what sadhana entails. That rather than allowing the wrong knowledge to come, which comes naturally in the materially conditioned state, instead of that, you force the right knowledge to come. So initially, you have to struggle. To bring this thought that I am not the doer, you use all your wits, all your intellect, all the knowledge that you heard, that, you know, your visualization, see a powerhouse, see yourself as receiving the power. And then as you keep on practicing, it will become easier and easier and easier. And then one day it will grow on us as a second nature, where it will, the thoughts of being the non-doer will become as natural as now the thoughts of being the doer are natural. So this stage will come by practice and practicing to bring the correct knowledge to our intellect. Thank you, Pallavi.
Thank you, Swamiji. Next question is from Ajayji. We are going to give it a try. Ajayji.
Well, Ajay, if you know sign language, you can speak in sign language.
Okay, we will take Nitinji. Nitinji, you can go next, please.
Radhe Radhe and Pranam Swamiji. Am I audible?
Yes, Nitin, Radhe Radhe to you.
Pranam Swamiji. Thank you for all the gems of wisdom that you always do, and for inspiring us and giving us a beautiful platform to do seva, which is so important, like you explained. So this question is from Madhuji on behalf of Madhuji. So Madhuji wants to know, how do we know we are progressing in the right direction, and how do we get feedback from Guru? So I'm just asking on their behalf.
It is not easy to know how much you have progressed. The simple parameters that are given are two. How much has your mind got detached from the world? The Vairagya. And how much has the mind got attached to the divine? So these are the two parameters of progress. But you yourself, if when you do Atma Nirikshan, the self-introspection, you say, you know, earlier on, a little provocation used to make me angry, and now I'm able to digest it. That's the sign of progress. Earlier on, a little reversal would get me upset, and I would think of it for 6 hours, and now it gets out of my mind in 15 minutes. That's the sign of progress. Earlier, I would get tired after 1 hour of bhakti, I'd be bored. Now I can carry on for 2 hours. So these are all signs of progress. And finally, of course, it is the Guru who really knows how much we have progressed. So if there is any need for such a feedback, we can directly speak to our Guru and find out how we are doing.
Thank you, Swamiji. It was from Madhuji from Schaumburg, Illinois. Just all that out, I think.
All right,
Thank you
Nitin.
so much.
Thank you, Madhu, for asking the question.
So that concludes our question answer session, Swamiji. From all of us, our heartfelt gratitude for a beautiful lecture and interactive Q&A. Tremendous help to all of us who are on the path of sadhana. We truly appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Well, I would like to once again thank everyone and express my heartfelt greetings. I also have an announcement to make. Very happy to know that the CICE, Center for Indian Culture and Education, is starting a new offering of the Ramcharitmanas, the Tulsi Krit, Goswami Tulsidas Ji Krit Ramcharitmanas, which is so nectarine, so blissful, so full of knowledge. A new offering is being made, and do take advantage of this. I am sure you will really enjoy it. With those words, Radhe Radhe to all of you. Please continue with your celebrations.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you so much. So we are going to continue our celebrations with Kirtan, and then we have special gems coming up from Sri Maharaj for all the spiritual aspirants. Then Bhog and Kirtan, Aarti program is going to continue. Do stay tuned, and you can watch live with radhakrishnatemple.net. Thank you.
रखवार हमारो ऐसो रखवार हमारो सरकार हमारो रखवार हमारो रखवार कुमार हमारो तीन कानंद कुमार हमारो ऐसो है रखवार हमारो ऐसो है रखवार हमारो